Just rolling our next comedy. Our next comedian. I'm so fucked up. For all of those years.
Strike three.
Strike four. You're out! Alright, our next comedian hails from the Great Lake state of Flint, Michigan.
Yeah!
Finest fucking water in the country. But has catapulted him into one of the hottest comedy tours in mid-Michigan called the Comedy Series. He has already done Mayfield Tavern in Mayfield, which is 1 inch away from Lapeer. 1 inch. And he spends a lot of time at Crunchies in East Lansing. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. Here he comes, Mr. Chris Reed, everybody.
Give it up for Billy Chapman. Hell yeah. Damn, man, I haven't seen a crowd this big since my last intervention. That didn't go too well. Who's ready for summer? I'm actually on the fence about summer. I mean, I enjoy the warm weather, but there's just some things associated with summer that I have a hard time with, like Pride Month. Yeah, like everywhere you look, man, it's a gay party, a gay parade, gay festival. It's too much. I mean, there's only so much dick I could suck. Just feeling you out. Shit, so I'm gonna tell y'all a little bit about myself. My name is Chris, and I'm a high achiever. I only achieve things when I'm high. I also suffer from imposter syndrome. I don't always feel like a fraud. It's usually just the first few hours after I steal someone's identity. Then it just goes away. I used to bite my fingernails. My dad put a stop to that, though. He said, "Boy, next time I catch you biting them fingers, I'm gonna stick them in dog shit." He did, too. And it worked. I haven't bitten him since then. I did feel bad for the dog, though. He cried the whole time my hand was up his ass. Probably should have taken off my class ring first. So I'm actually a little irritated right now. Y'all mind if I vent for a minute?
Go ahead.
Cool. Well, I was almost late getting here tonight because I got stuck behind a bunch of people who were doing 10 miles under the speed limit. Yeah, you know how it is. Yeah, so finally I got pissed and I sped past them and I was like, "Fuck you! Fuck you and all your stupid little orange flags." Must have been a car club or something. So I don't understand this obsession with Chris Hemsworth. You know, the Marvel actor? I mean, he's decent looking, but he is not all that. I was actually thinking about him the other day while I was masturbating. I had a Thorgasm. Which makes sense, because in my fantasy, my ass was getting hammered. It was marvelous. That went from bad to worse, didn't it? Oh, well, fuck it. Hey, I want to take a minute to thank the veterans. How many, we got any veterans in here tonight besides Matt? I know Matt's a veteran. Any other veterans? All right, thank you for your service. I appreciate you. Hey, hell, round of applause for the veterans. Hell yeah. Cool. Thank you very much. I like to thank veterans whenever I can. I thanked a veteran last night at the restaurant. Went over to his table and I was like, "Thank you for your service," and I shook his hand, and then I noticed his legs were gone. So I was like, "Man, I'm sorry about your injuries." He looked really confused. Turned out he was just wearing camouflage pants. Kind of embarrassing. Speaking of embarrassing, I'm a substitute teacher. That's my day job. I don't like my day job. I do try to be positive though. Like every morning when I go to work, before I walk into the building, I always stop and I say, "It's gonna be a great day somewhere." Most of the kids I work with are pretty cool though, but man, they can say some weird stuff sometimes. Like I had this little boy come up to my desk, he was like, "Mr. Reed, choose right or left." I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Just pick one." I was like, "I don't know, left." He's like, "Oh my God." Then he looks at the class, he's like, "Mr. Reed chose left." They're all like, "What?" I was like, "What is going on here?" He's like, "Mr. Reed, right is heaven and left is hell. You chose left." I said, "Look, I chose left the moment I applied for this job. Now go sit down. And stop saying hell. What the hell's wrong with you?" Then I had a little girl come up to me. She's like, "Mr. Reed, is the Empire State Building the most important building?" I said, "No, it's not." She's like, "Well, then what is the most important building?" I said, "Well, that all depends. Like, during times of war, the most important building is the Pentagon. In times of peace, the most important building would be the United Nations. After the day like I've had today, the most important building is Murray's Liquor." She was only 6, but I wasn't going to bullshit her. Yeah, so y'all might have noticed I have a slight limp. I was out getting my wife some flowers and I twisted my ankle. Tripped over a tombstone when I was leaving the cemetery. It's worth it though, I got her some roses. Shout out to the Thompsons. Whoever they are. Saved me some cash. Nah, but I had to get my wife some flowers though because I made her mad at me the other day. We were at a family dinner and I told her she had a booger, like right in front of everyone. And she got embarrassed. So afterwards we decided to come up with some code words to use in case that happened again. Yeah, so we decided that if one of us has a booger in the nose, then we'll say, "You got a homie in the crib." But sometimes the homie leaves the crib. So if you got a booger on the lip, then we'll say, "There's a homie on the porch." Worst thing though is when the homie leaves the porch. We were at a party, my wife looked at me, she was like, "OMG, homie in the yard." I repeat, homie in the yard. Man, I went in the bathroom and looked in the mirror, I had a homie smashed into my beard. Man, how does that even happen? Oh, but that ain't nothing. We were at Meijer in the checkout lane, and I sneezed real hard. My wife was like, "Ooh, homie across the street." Man, I looked at the dude in front of us. My homie was stuck to the back of his neck. Yeah, we were cracking up too. Till the dude turned around, he was like, "What's so funny?" I was like, "Nothing, man. We were just laughing about something that happened to my homie." That was a close one. Yeah. So technology's out of control, man. They got an app for everything now, right? My wife just discovered this new health app. It shows you your entire medical history. Yeah, she was looking at mine. She was like, "You son of a bitch, you lied to me." I said, "About what?" She's like, "Well, you said you never had an STD, and here it shows that you were treated for gonorrhea." I said, "Yeah, but I only had it for a minute. Like, the moment I found out I had it, I gave it to someone else." That didn't help any. Nah, but I'm glad to be married though, because now I don't have to date dumb people anymore. Man, I dated this chick, she was so dumb. She called me up from a party one night. She was like, "We're playing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and I'm using my phone a friend. Do you have a minute?" I was like, "Sure, what's up?" She's like, "Okay, here's the question. Where was the Declaration of Independence signed?" I said, "Are you serious?" She's like, "Yeah, do you know?" I said, "Well, of course I know. It was signed on the bottom." She was like, "Oh, duh. I can't believe I wasted my phone a friend on that. I'm sorry I bothered you." I was like, "That's cool, that's what I'm here for." But I'm glad I'm married because my wife is smart. And she's spontaneous, which I appreciate. Yeah, we were out together last weekend and I was feeling kind of horny. So I stepped up behind her and started whispering dirty things in her ear. You know, she started rubbing her butt up against me, started touching herself. Yeah, she was into it until I ripped a big fart. And then she was like, oh my God, it smells like something died. I was like, well, we are at a funeral. The body's right there. True story. So before I get out of here, I'll leave you all with this. I have a question. Have you ever been on hold for so long that you forget who you called? Man, I was on a hold the other day like forever, right? Finally, the lady comes back on. She's like, I am so sorry for the wait. What's the appointment for? I said, well, I think I need a new prescription for my testosterone pills because I'm still having some trouble getting aroused. And when I do ejaculate, there's barely anything coming out. She's like, oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that, but what are we doing with the Jeep Patriot? Oops. All right, y'all have been great. My name's Chris Reed. Thanks for coming out tonight.
One more time for Chris Reed, everybody. All right. We're going to take a quick pause, I think about 10 or 12 minutes or so, something like that. It's just enough time to get more drinks, go outside, smoke some pot, go to the bathroom, and the more you drink, the more funnier we're going to be. So, we'll see you back here in about 12 minutes.